Some children give you 100 reasons to worry, and some give you none at all. This one's about the second kind, the child who never asks for help, never complains, never falls apart, the one everyone calls easy. Here's the quiet part underneath it. Sometimes a child is easy because they feel safe, and sometimes a child is easy because somewhere along the way they decided something all by themselves. Something like, I'll just handle this myself. I want to walk you through 10 small things your child might be feeling when they go quiet like this. Not to scare you, so you can hear what they've stopped saying out loud. Stay with me to the seventh one. It's the signal most parents miss, and it's the one I most want you to catch. I'm Dr. Sarah. On this channel, we go past what your child does into what they actually feel. One promise before we start. Nothing in this video means you've failed. Children adapt to a new sibling, a move, a hard season, a stretch where everyone was just tired. Adapting is what healthy little brains do. What matters isn't the past. It's the next small moment, and you have plenty of those left. Let's go. Sign 1. They stopped asking. Not they got independent. They stopped asking. There's a difference. Research on attachment suggests a child who feels securely connected will try on their own, struggle, and then turn toward you. A child who started raising themselves often skips that last step. They wrestle the zipper, the homework, the broken toy, and if it doesn't work, they just go quiet or find a workaround. Watch the moment of struggle. Do their eyes flick toward you or away? So next time they're stuck, you can say, "Want a hand? Or want me to just keep you company while you try?" That question keeps the door open either way. Hold on to it, because the next sign is about a door most parents don't even notice closing. Sign 2. They never complain. Complaining gets a bad name, but in child development, a complaint is often a good sign. It usually means the child still believes their feelings matter and that you'll respond. A child who never says, "That's not fair, I'm tired, I don't want to," isn't automatically content. For some kids, it's temperament, and that's fine. But for others, silence is a conclusion they reached. Saying it changes nothing, so why spend the energy? Silence isn't always peace. Sometimes it's a closed door, which brings us to where those feelings actually go. Sign 3. They comfort themselves alone. Every child needs to learn to self-soothe. That part is healthy, and on its own, it's a good thing. The signal isn't self-soothing. It's the direction. When your child is hurt or scared or sad, which way do they move? Research on co-regulation suggests connected kids tend to move toward a person first and calm down with them. A child raising themselves more often moves away, to their room, under a blanket, into a screen. If your child cries alone and comes out fine, the feeling may not be gone. It may just be packaged. And we'll come back to what packaged feelings do later. Sign 4. They're the convenient one. Teachers love them. Relatives beam. So mature for their age. Now, some kids really are easygoing by nature, and that's wonderful. But chronic convenience is worth a second look. Sometimes a child has learned that being low maintenance earns warmth, or at least avoids friction, so they quietly edit themselves all the time. Gentle question. When was this child last genuinely inconvenient? Loud, demanding, in the way? If you honestly can't remember, that might not be maturity. It might be caution. Keep counting. And keep that number to yourself for now. There's a comment I'll ask you for at the end. Sign 5. They parent the family. They remind their little brother to brush his teeth. They check if you're okay. They smooth over the tension at dinner before it lands. Psychologists call this parentification, a child quietly taking on an adult's emotional or practical job. In small doses, it can look like kindness, and often that's all it is. But when a child is constantly monitoring the emotional weather of the house, they've hired themselves for a role no child should have. A child can help the family. A child should never feel responsible for the family. Sign 6. They hide mistakes. The spill wiped up in secret. The bad grade you heard about weeks late. The broken thing quietly in the trash. Kids hide mistakes when honesty feels more expensive than hiding. That's common, and it isn't only about fear of punishment. A child raising themselves takes it one step further. They've decided the cleanup is their job too. Even damage control has been folded inward, which sets up the sign I promised you, the one almost every parent misses. Sign 7. They stop bringing you the good news. This is it. We expect a struggling child to hide the bad stuff. So watch the good stuff instead. They won a game at recess. They drew something they're proud of. Do they come find you? Children tend to share joy with the people they feel connected to. So when a child stops bringing you the small wins, the funny thing, the drawing, the level they finally beat, it can mean the connection channel is narrowing. And here's the part I most want you to hear. It isn't just the problems laying closing, it's the whole road getting quieter. Sit with that one. Because signs 8, 9, and 10 are what it looks like once the road is nearly empty. And then I'm going to show you exactly how to reopen it. Sign 8. They read you like weather. Your child clocks your face the second you walk in. They know which footsteps mean tired and which mean don't, and they adjust instantly. Some of this is just empathy, and empathy is beautiful. But hypervigilance, constant scanning, predicting, adapting, can be a survival skill. The child may have learned that their comfort depends on managing your state, so they study you the way you'd study a storm. A child noticing your mood is sweet. A child forecasting it is carrying something heavy. Sign 9. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Listen for the default phrases. Whatever. I don't care.
Whatever.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Real indifference in a child is rare. More often, it's preemptive disappointment. If I don't want anything, I can't be let down. If it doesn't matter, it can't hurt. A child who wants nothing has usually wanted something, many times, and slowly taught themselves to stop. Sign 10. They handle big feelings too smoothly. The pet dies, the friend moves, the plans collapse, and your child shrugs, adapts, moves on. We love to call this resilience. She's so resilient. And sometimes it genuinely is. Some kids are simply lower key by temperament. But real resilience in children is usually loud first. Tears, questions, anger, and quiet after. Instant composure every time can be something gentler sounding than resilience. Suppression with good manners. If your child never seems to fall apart, here's the tender question to ask. Do they believe someone would catch them if they did? There's a kind of child I think about often. Not one child, the pattern. The one who was so good, so easy, so little trouble, that the grown-ups around them slowly forgot to ask if they were okay. And what the research on connection keeps showing us is this. That child was never done reaching. They just got quieter about it. The door didn't lock, it only got heavy. Which means everything I'm about to tell you is the good news. If you counted 3, 5, even 8 of these, take a breath. Kids reattach remarkably fast when the environment changes. Here's where to start. 1. Make asking cheap. The next time they ask for help, even something tiny, make it a good experience. No sighing. No, you should know this by now. The first few asks are tests. Pass them. So when they come to you, try saying, I'm so glad you asked me. 2. Say the feeling for them. You're reteaching a skill they shelved, that feelings are speakable here. It can be as simple as, that looked really frustrating. I'd be frustrated too. 3. 10 unhurried minutes a day. Not quality time with an agenda, just availability. On the floor, in their world, phone in another room. And here's the quiet mechanism. When you stay calm and near, they borrow your calm. That's the whole engine of connection, co-regulation, what I call the art of containment. You don't fix the feeling. You become the safe place the feeling is allowed to happen. 4. Catch the good news. When they mention anything, react. Phone down, body turned. One real question. You're reopening the exact channel from sign 7. Something like, wait, tell me the whole thing. I want to hear it. 5. Let them be
You're
inconvenient.
allowed to want things.
The first time
I
your
can
easy
handle it.
child pushes back, whines, or demands something, that's not regression. That's trust coming back. Welcome it, even when it's exhausting. You can even say it out loud. You're allowed to want things. I can handle it. A quick, honest note. Dr. Sarah is an educational resource, general information for parents, not medical or psychological advice. If these patterns are deep or they showed up after something big, a loss, a divorce, a really hard year, a child therapist isn't a defeat. It's a shortcut and a brave one. If this helped you see your child a little more clearly, subscribe. Next, I'm decoding what your toddler is actually thinking in the middle of a meltdown. The child who falls apart in front of you is telling you something hopeful. And tell me below, which number did you recognize? Just the number is fine. I read them. Your child didn't learn to carry it all alone in a day, and they won't set it down in a day either. But every time you show up in one small, boring, ordinary moment, you're rewriting a single line in their mind. I don't have to do this by myself. That's the thing they've been quietly waiting to feel.